Alright everyone, good morning. Today is Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024 at 06:39, and today we have our day 1 outlook to look at here. Okay, so it looks like when we enter the day 1 outlook, we've got a little bit of a little enhanced risk. It looks like mainly in Missouri, a little bit out into Kansas, and maybe up even into Iowa. We got a slight risk here that begins out here in Colorado, and a little bit going down into Oklahoma here. But mainly goes into Kansas, and then Missouri, and then Nebraska, and then into Iowa, a little bit of Illinois too. We also have a marginal extending from Colorado out into New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, into Nebraska, Iowa, out into Illinois, and up into Wisconsin and Minnesota. So that's what we've got going up here. Oops, I forgot even Illinois, or not Illinois, Wyoming and South Dakota even have a marginal risk. So let's see what we've got. So looks like we've got St. Joseph, Leavenworth, Liberty, Gladstone, and I think it's Ottumwa, I think is how you say it, under an enhanced. We got Kansas City, Omaha, Lincoln, Des Moines, and Overland Park under a slight, and Wichita, Madison, Amarillo, Rockford, and Pueblo under a marginal. That's what we've got for today's risks. Let's see what. Let's go deeper into them. So it looks like we got a tornado risk of a 5%, and a little bit of Kansas, and a little bit of Nebraska, and Missouri and Iowa. We got a 2% extending from Colorado through Kansas up into Nebraska and Iowa, down into Missouri and over into Illinois. So let's see what we've got for today's cities for our risk areas. So St. Joseph, Iowa City, Althuma, Coralville, and Kirksville under a 5%, and Kansas City, Omaha, Lincoln, Des Moines, and Overland Park under a 2%. So I definitely would say maybe an isolated EF1 could touch down if that is at all possible. 2% you definitely might see an EF0 possible. Alright, today's wind risk. This is a big one here. We got 30% across parts of Kansas into Missouri up into Iowa. We got a 15% starting from Colorado down into Oklahoma, through Kansas, into Missouri, up into Nebraska, in Iowa, over into Illinois. We've got a 5% extending from all the way out into Wyoming, into South Dakota, Nebraska, down into Colorado, Kansas, into New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Texas, through Kansas, into Missouri, out into Illinois, up into Wisconsin and Minnesota. So that's what we've got for our cities for today. For the wind risk, let's see what cities we have. We got St. Joseph, Leavenworth, Liberty, Gladstone, and Ottumwa under a 30%. We got Kansas City, Des Moines, Overland Park, Kansas City, and Cedar Rapids under a 15%. And Omaha, Wichita, Lincoln, Madison, and Amarillo under a 5%. So definitely, I would say in the 30% area, you could see damaging winds of 60 to 75 miles per hour. Same thing for the 15%, but 60 to 70 miles per hour could be for the 5%. I would definitely say that. Anyway, today's hail risk, I definitely would say, before that, let's see who has this. So 15%, we got a little bit of Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri, up into Iowa. Iowa has that, 15%. We also have a separate one over here across Colorado and Kansas. We do also have this 5% extending from Wyoming into South Dakota, down into Nebraska, into Colorado, Kansas, then goes down into Texas and Oklahoma, and out into Missouri, into Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. So let's see what cities we've got under the 5%. Well, not 5%, but today's hail risk. So we got Omaha, Lincoln, Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, and Davenport under a 15%. And Kansas City, Wichita, Overland Park, Kansas City, and Topeka under a 5%. So definitely I would say if you're into 15% area, you could see hailstones of maybe 1 to 3 inches. 5% you could see 1 to 2 inch hail possible. But anyway, let's see what today's risks are. Well, not today's risks. Let's see what Storm Prediction Center says. Oh, maybe not because it reset on me. Alright. Anyway, scattered severe thunderstorms are most likely over southern Iowa, northern Missouri, and northeast Kansas between about 2 to 9 p.m. Central Time. Damaging winds, a few tornadoes, and large hail are the expected hazards. So, yeah, so you could be seeing damaging winds, could see some hail, and we could see some tornadoes. So, and that's today's risks. Anyway, please stay weather aware, please stay safe, and I will see you tomorrow. Stay weather aware.